Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 10 now of the Iron Sharpens Iron series, and I'm really excited for this next guest. It is third place at the 2019 Arnold Classic, Luke Sandoe. How you doing, man?
Hello. How are you?
Really appreciate you taking the time. I know we were just talking, there's nothing else to do right now, so we might as well knock out.
This is like I get excited when I get asked to do these. I'm like, yes, I've fucking got something to do. And then people keep telling me, they're like, why don't you just do vlogs for YouTube? And I find I can't really talk to myself.
Yes, it's hard.
Do you find that? I find instance, because everyone's like, oh, you're quite good on camera. I find it really difficult to do stories.
Yeah.
I can see myself, but if somebody's filming me and I can't see it, I can kind of do it. You like that? Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually, I kind of started this new series where I'm documenting like a long extended off season to show like the good, the bad, the ugly of trying to put on muscle in the off season. And I was doing that the other day. I had the phone up here, I was walking, and I was just trying to talk. I'm like, I'm not good at this vlogging shit. Like, I'm not like Christian Goose. I'm not some of these guys that vlog exciting lifestyles. Like, so I definitely understand what you're saying, man. But how are you guys holding up over there?
Well, better now. I've got my whole garage gym set up. So to be fair, I'm fine now. I mean, I still need a couple of bits of equipment, and then when I've got those, I can pretty much just train out the garage forever.
Yeah. What's the word with things reopening over there? Are you guys, because here in Florida right now,
May 6th or 7th, I believe. I can't remember the actual date. I know it's like within the first week of May. I think it's the first Thursday in May.
Oh, okay. There's some states here that are already open.
That's the time when the government are going to give us, because that's the official end of this current lockdown we have.
Yeah.
When it comes to the end of that, I think the government will tell us what the next steps are, whether that's another week or two of lockdown, or whether they're restricting things, or whether they're going to tighten it or loosen it. We don't really know. But what I've seen, because I always watch the daily briefing from the Prime Minister every day, and from what they always give all the stats and saying how things are going, like how things are trending and what they're planning on doing. It's been quite positive in terms of seeing things trending down. So I'm still thinking kind of mid-June. I'd imagine gyms may start opening around then, but can't see it any earlier than that. But that's me being really optimistic. June.
Yeah, I'm here in Tampa, and they're saying May 8th for us. But our governor, to be honest, is a dipshit. So who knows what's going on? But
I mean, the thing is as well. I mean, let's. Everyone has to remember, just because lockdowns are lifted doesn't mean your own personal responsibility just disappears. It doesn't, you're still welcome to stay at home.
Yeah.
I think if you are going to go outside, you are going to do shit, just be a bit more careful about yourself and other people. And if you are genuinely frightened, you don't have to go to the gym just because it's open on May the 8th.
Right.
So personal, the personal side of it still applies. And I think a lot of people just think that when lockdown's over, everyone's just going to go crazy and go outside, where I actually think a lot of people that I know are still going to stay inside for a while.
Yeah, there's a lot of people for a long time, probably the rest of the year, this thing's going to be, people are going to be fearing this for a long time to come.
Yeah. And
they're not going to be throwing a concert the day
after. Also, yeah, I mean, but the thing is as well, I think that's the other thing you can't track from the government. The governments around the world, that's not a piece of data you can track.
Right.
They might say to you in Tampa, like, fine, you can open, and 90% of people are like, fuck that, I'm staying home.
Yeah.
Don't know.
That's true. That's a good point, man. Their personal responsibility. Nobody takes enough of that anymore nowadays. But so you have a really interesting backstory that I want to kind of get into a little bit. It's pretty well documented. You had a kid really young. 15, right?
15.
Yeah. So yeah, I listen. I pay attention. How did that change you as a man? Like, because, obviously you're 15 years old, you're probably you're probably playing your music, you're not having a care in the world. And all of a sudden you have a kid. How did that make you grow up real quick?
I think that was actually before I was more, I think at that point I used to play in like bands at school, but nothing serious. At that point it was just me and my girlfriend, which is obviously my daughter's mother. So we were just together 24/7 anyway. And I used to skate at the time, skateboard, and that was pretty much between her and skateboarding was all I did. I had a part-time job, and that was really all I did. So she was kind of my world at the time. So when I found out, I was like, I wasn't thinking, oh fuck, my life's over. I was just thinking, my mum was going to kill me. That's all I gave a shit about.
Yeah,
that's it. I didn't, and she didn't kill me. She wasn't happy.
I think any teenage guy would have that same.
Yeah, and in all fairness, it's I can't remember it not. I can't remember it not being like that. So I can't even. It never. I don't know what it changed because I don't know what trajectory I was on because it feels because I've been a father longer than I haven't been.
Yeah, over after you're 31, right?
Yeah. So I mean, Louise just turned 16 last month,
Man.
which is fucked up, and I don't like this. I don't like it.
You know what though? If some guy was trying to come over and date your daughter right now with the condition that you're in, I think that they'd be scared shitless to try to do it.
Yeah, she has got a boyfriend, and I keep saying, "Well, just let me meet him." And she's like, "Yeah, cool." And every time I like pick her up or drop her off, I'm like, "Where is he?" And she's like, "He's not coming down," or he's just nipped out. It's always a bit of a convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to hurt him. I'm just going to shake his hand a bit too hard.
You're gonna do the whole Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Bad Boys routine on him.
I don't think I need to.
Here's what you do, Luke. You got to bring him over for a workout. That's going to be a real test of if he's man enough.
Well, my daughter trains, and and she only trains legs and does cardio. And I've seen her squatting, and she trains hard.
What is she? Is she training for the wellness division or something?
She just you'd think so. Looking at her, she's got incredible genetics.
Yeah.
So she's not saying she's got all of that from me, but she looks fucking good. She keeps in shape. She's very active. She's very creative. So she's just great, really. But I don't think she'd ever want to compete. Really, it's not really her thing. I think she does it just because she knows she should. And I think a lot of young people shouldn't just necessarily train for a self-conscious thing or to look a certain way. It's just good. It's a good thing to do for most people.
Yeah, a lot of good benefits come from mental health.
Exactly. So I think she does that. She enjoys it. It's quite social there because all of her friends at school do it. It's quite popular. All the lads from our school do it as well. So all of them after school basically just go to the gym.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. So yeah.
So speaking of genetics, you said she has good genetics. I know that you didn't get into bodybuilding until a little bit later on in your life, but you do have amazing genetics. I know, you and Fu had talked about that and stuff. Like you put in a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But you also have great genetics.
Oh, of course. I know. Yeah, I know that. It's
Anybody else in your family? Do you look at them and think they could have these same genetics, or I got them from them?
We have absolutely no idea where they're from.
Really?
So all my brother and sisters, I'm the only half in the family. So I have a different dad to my brother and sister. There's four of us. It's a 5-year age gap. I don't know who my real dad is. I've never met him. I don't have a clue.
Oh, okay.
So from what I've heard, he's not very tall and he's not very big.
Yeah.
So I mean, my uncles are quite stocky and their upper body, but it's a weird thing in my family. Everyone has really stick thin legs, and I've always had really big chunky legs. Like big calves,
are awesome, man.
big feet. It's just that's how I've always been. And apart from my cousin, he's quite stocky, but not how I was.
Yeah.
No one in my family is like me. Even my hair color, my beard, I'm darker. But my mum says it comes from her dad, because he's really hairy, he's really dark.
Generation.
Yeah, maybe, but it's but in terms of the body shape and everything, no. My brother has a pretty decent physique, but he is very high up in the British Army, so he's very active. So you'd expect that.
Yeah.
And both my sisters are in great shape as well. So, but in terms of, I've just been a lot bigger. I mean, there's no one in my family that's like a fat fuck or anything. Everyone's relatively in good shape, but right. I've always been way bigger than the rest of my family.
Hey, it's paying off now, though, man.
Yeah, it's good.
So you were obviously a drummer for a while in a band. Mm-hmm. How long did you do that for?
I started training. Started playing when I was about 11, maybe a bit earlier. Yeah. And I did it all through school. Or I did it at college. I did art and music at college. To the most pointless subjects ever. And then after that, all of us moved to London, and then we kind of did it from the age of about 19 to 21.
Okay.
I was about 22, 19, 20. Yeah, I was 22, 19 to 22. We just pursued it full time.
So how did you, because I've heard this, I knew about the drumming and I knew about the music, and then it just kind of goes into bodybuilding. Where was that transition for you?
There wasn't really. I mean, I was always interested in bodybuilding, and all the guys in the band, they knew I read the magazines and stuff, and I was always more muscular. I used to kind of train to not be big. I used to train to not be big, kind of.
Right.
because I was bigger than everyone
Almost
else.
looking.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not super obvious. I mean, I've got pictures of me sat behind a drum kit before I've ever even hit the gym, and my fucking traps are like this, you
Yeah.
know. And they're already like that, and everyone else in the band and in the circle are really, really skinny. So I used to train just to be as lean as I could, so at least I could feel comfortable in myself.
Oh yeah.
And I just didn't really eat much, and I was always just still big.
Yeah.
So I kind of gravitated toward bodybuilding because my mum bought me a magazine kind of by accident, and I've always gravitated towards it. Before I actually did it, I used to follow it. Like I used to read, like in the magazines, I used to read like they follow the Olympia and things like that, and I started to get to know the guys' names. And then after when the band kind of got to the point where I was like, fuck this, it just feels like work now. I've put all this time into it, and now instead of it being what we wanted it to be, we're trying to actually just do it as a business, and it's shit. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a professional bodybuilder.
Just one. Just.
I just had a little light switch in my head, just go, and I was like, fuck it, let's go. And everyone laughed at me. Everyone thought I was ridiculous, and I did it. So.
I love that mentality, man. I mean, it's anybody that has that ability to just kind of decide one day you're gonna turn your focus and go for it full bore. I really respect that, man. What was the turning point? I know you said that the band started to kind of become more work than it was fun and everything. But when was that point when you decided, okay, I'm going to start training for this particular competition?
Straight away, I left the band. I picked a show.
You had one in mind?
Straight away, I was like UKBFF British South British UKBFF South Coast, which was next May. I took a picture. I think I've posted the picture before. Just me stood in front of the mirror, my first ever progress picture.
Yeah.
Doing fuck all, just like gym stuff. I'm relatively leanish, I look like I train, but I'm not a bodybuilder at this point. And I was like, this is my start point. And then I have a couple of pictures of me getting really fat, then me dieting down, and then literally 11 months later was the show.
Okay.
And the transformation is pretty crazy, and I won.
What was your starting weight when you decided that I'm going in on this full board?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe 230, 240 maybe.
Okay, so you were already pretty big at that point.
Yeah, I've always just been heavy as well, like really heavy. When I was like 12 years old, and I weighed like. Then I measured everything in stone. I was like 13 stone, which I think's 13. I don't know. That's about.
I've always been interested in that.
I think it's about 200 pounds, and I was like 13 years old.
Jeez. So I'm sure that first prep was a huge eye opener for you. Did you do it by yourself, or did you
I
have?
did it by myself. I was really fat on Christmas Day, and
Yeah.
then I being really fat on Christmas Day. And I was like, I started my diet in 5 days. So we'll celebrate New Year, and it's diet time. And then I did it myself. Didn't really know what I was doing. Wasn't terribly in shape.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. Sorry, I was in terrible shape, but I wasn't terribly bad either. I was kind of just a bit like your first diet. My upper body was very lean. My legs were just sausages. I think the only reason I won is because of the size and my shape. Literally, I couldn't pose. Didn't know what I was doing. The tan was awful, and I wasn't in condition.
Did you find that you started dieting really Did you find that you started dropping weight really easily? Like when you started dieting, are you?
I don't really remember. I think I just went straight to like a fish and potato diet.
Yeah.
And just did like 40 minutes of cardio on a shit bike in my lounge. And I think I just went straight into it, and I just blindly did it.
Yeah. Were you following, like, I know you're a huge fan of Dorian Yates, and I am too. Yeah. Dorian's the man. He's awesome.
He is.
With who else around that time period were you, like, I don't want to say idolizing, but who were you trying to really mimic?
Fuad.
He's going to love hearing that.
It was like Fuad, Evan Centopani, Flex Lewis. The people were putting content out and were doing well. Flex Lewis, obviously, because he was from where we are, UK. And it was, whoever was putting out content. I mean, even like Seth Ferrucci at the time was doing stuff with Muscle Tech. Jayan was still putting stuff out. It was whoever was putting stuff out on YouTube, really, at the time.
I'll tell you that every week, the two things that I look forward to the most, because I listen to it when I'm doing my walking and cardio and stuff, is bodybuilding and Bullocks and Hardworking Motherfucker podcast.
That's cool.
You are.
I love it when we have Seth on. Those episodes are mad.
Oh man, they're great. They are great.
We've got my friend Ben on next week. Ben Chow, he was my training partner. He's moved to Texas, so he's had a crazy time since he's been in Texas. So he's coming on next week.
Crazy good or crazy bad?
Crazy good and bad. So he moved to Texas, and everything's just his whole life is just completely changed. So,
okay. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, so am I.
So where did you play? You won that first show?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So at that point, what are your thoughts? Are your thoughts like?
My feedback was incredible after that show.
Yeah.
Like everyone was talking to me, like coming up to me afterwards. Somebody was like, you could be like top 3 Olympia one day.
Really?
One day it was like you could be a future Mr. Olympia. Where like it was like, and I didn't understand it at the time, but so many people were coming up to me and being like, who the fuck are you? kind of thing.
Was anybody
and I didn't think I was overly that impressive, because my gym owner at the time was kind of, he would always put me down, but not in a way to make me feel shit about myself.
Right.
Just to make me realize that I'm not all that, and I still need to work harder, not get complacent. So I had it in my head, I'm shit. I'm nobody. I'm not big. I have no muscle. And I was the biggest in the show, I think, in terms of muscle.
Was anybody that's currently competing now in that show with you, or was it?
Yeah, the guy who won the overall, Jim Watts. He's a good friend of mine. He's current British. He's just turning. He's one of those elite pros. So Jim, if you're watching this, it's not a pro card. You're not a pro. Sort yourself out. Come get a real IFBB pro card, because you need one and you deserve one. And he won the overall, and he was in crazy condition. And he gets in, like, nowadays when he competes, he's one of the guys I'm trying to emulate in terms of condition. I don't see many guys get in that shape. He's fucking shredded. It's a joke.
Like that Branch Warren grainy shredded, or
he looks harder than Branch, because he's not veiny, really. He's just fucking like dug out dry. Like you can see every fiber in his hamstring and his ass. Like it looks gross. Yeah.
That's what's funny, is that like this is a sport, this is a lifestyle. Like we want to look that gross because we love it.
Because his hamstrings just like knotted rope, like, and you could imagine saying knotted rope. You can see the rope fraying.
Yeah,
that's how dry his hamstrings look.
Jeez.
So I'll send you his profile. But he won the overall there. He always jokes that his claim to fame is beating me in that show. But yeah, he's still current, which is why it's so cool. I mean, because even at the time then, I think James Hollington, who's my training partner now, he won the British finals in the juniors. I think the year before or 2 years before.
Well, what year? When you win this show, what year is this?
2012.
Okay.
So 2012 was the first show, and then so there was still a lot of people like on the scene at that point who are still competing now, and it's great. And a lot of them are pro, which is why it's amazing. And I feel like I've come up in one of the best times in British bodybuilding.
That's what I was gonna say. British bodybuilding right now is hot.
Yeah, it is, but everyone just fucking works hard here. No one does. See, everyone does it here for the reasons that I feel suit bodybuilding the best. It's not about having an entourage and nice watches and driving nice cars and being a hip hop superstar. It's about being a fucking just a horrendous, ugly beast in the gym and fucking getting it done.
Yeah.
It's not sexy or cool or like, it's not, and it shouldn't be. It should be brutal and barbaric in the gym. It shouldn't be like, you shouldn't train legs and be like, oh, this is great. You should be like, I want to fucking die.
Yeah. Where's the button to throw up?
That's what bodybuilding is to me. It's as hardcore as powerlifting, strongman. It is. It's like to ask Dorian if it's less hardcore than fucking powerlifting, and
in my opinion, it's more hardcore, because you not only hardcore from the standpoint that from the training standpoint, but hardcore from the discipline standpoint.
It is in the training, because a lot of bodybuilders they train because they're vain.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And they train for the vanity side. And I don't have a problem with it. It's fine. If that's what it is, it's absolutely fine. And that's more what classic physique is. And I think it's good that they've got a division for that. And that's kind of the California side of it. If you look at Pumping Iron, there was California and there was the East and West Coast, There was in the trenches, in the gym in New York, or there was at the beach. Now I'm more the guy who's in New York in a basement gym, not at the beach.
Yeah, you're like Lou Ferrigno in Pumping.
That's the part of bodybuilding that attracts me to it. Not being a freak, like not looking like it, being in the gym, seeing how much pain you can endure, and just seeing how strong you can be, and just seeing how everything, and sticking to and having the discipline. And it's not. It's like I'm doing it for the right reasons, not doing it because
Yeah,
you want to.
everybody's got their reason why they do it, and that's fine. But if you want to be at the top like you are right now, you got to be laser focused. And being over there, away from so many distractions. I mean, I'm sure you guys have your own distractions over there,
Yeah.
but over here in the States, whether you're here in Florida or out in California or something, you've got a lot of distractions. And when I watch like you and James train over there, like at King's Gym and all that stuff, which, man, I just want to come do a European tour just to hit all the gyms over there. But that's what I would like to start here in Florida. That's what I love. That's what I grew up loving as far as bodybuilding, watching Dorian and all that stuff. But that has got to be just an unbelievable asset to have somebody else like James. And I know you guys aren't really training together much right now through all this, but in general, you guys are training partners who are not only strong as hell, have very similar mindsets and goals and everything. But you guys want each other to succeed. You guys want each other to succeed as much as you want yourself to succeed. And you don't get that much over here in the States. You don't get that camaraderie as much over here.
Yeah, maybe not. And I just think, do you know what, as well, it might be. The weather's so shit here, no one ever takes their tops off. So everyone's just getting huge.
Hoodies all the time.
I mean, all British guys train in hoodies and baggy t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. I just think we're just maybe 10 years behind.
Do you almost feel like there's a us versus them mentality, British bodybuilding versus the rest of the world?
No, because I feel like we're king at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, you guys.
We might not have Mr. Olympia yet, but we've got some big guns here. We've got the content. We're doing more with Redcon than anyone else. I mean, Redcon is a big part of that. We've got, obviously, trained by JP. Jordan Peter's site is doing phenomenal for British bodybuilding. Right. We got Diasha, who's phenomenal. We've got a couple of good pros who are definitely going to make the Olympia. And we've got a pro show here now, and it's bubbling here more than it is anywhere else.
And I do want to get into the British Grand Prix in just a little bit, because that was the show that you were training for, right?
It was supposed to be in 3 days.
Yeah, but just going back to the British bodybuilding stuff and Redcon. I mean, obviously we see your sponsor right there. Redcon is a huge leader in the industry, and there he is. There
he has to get involved. Sorry,
I've got 4 downstairs. If I had tried to get them up here, it'd be a mess. But, for Redcon, a huge leader in the supplement industry, and especially here stateside, to give you and James your own show on their channel, that's huge. That's just showing the growth of British bodybuilding and just bodybuilding worldwide.
In all honesty, if you look at the numbers on the Redcon One YouTube, our videos get 10 times more hits than almost anyone else's. Because
you guys have great personalities and you train.
I know it's not. I don't think it's anything to do with that, and it's nothing to do with any of the other athletes. I just think what we're doing is just a bit more gritty. And I think when it's gritty and real, and it's like you're seeing us working hard, people just think, oh, well, working hard obviously gets you what you want, right? And it's not glamorous. It's not a lie. It's not like the Instagram glitz and glam.
Right.
It's boring and it's hard, but we enjoy it and we show how much we enjoy it. And people are like, hard work is fun. We're kind of just selling discipline, really.
I would love to just disappear for a year and come over there and just train in a dungeon.
I would love that if I could.
So great. So let's get to your training with James and stuff, because it's really interesting. You guys are not putting on a show for the camera whatsoever, but you guys do have fun in between sets and joke around a little bit. But then when it's time to get on, you flip that mentality and you're on. How do you do that in your mind? Because there's a lot of people that can't, joke around or something between sets, but then when it's time to work, they can't get their mindset back into that.
I think it's because James and I both know violence as well as we know peace. Yeah. So we know it. I bet James and I have been through things in our lives that we know pure violence. And you have to know that to be able to be peace, and you have to, and then when you've experienced things, you can kind of turn it on and turn it off, I guess. And I don't want to feel like I do in the middle of a set. I don't want to be feeling that when I'm not doing the set, because it's horrible.
Yeah. One of the greatest things, hearing about Eddie Hall's story about how he got ready, how he mentally prepared for that 500 pull.
Yeah.
That's just like the things that he had to envision to get ready for that, man. The mental approach to everything we do fascinates me a little bit. So when you are starting a prep, whether it be for the Arnold, Olympia, whatever it is, what's your mindset going into that? Are you like from day one full bore into it, or are you kind of like easing in, and as we get deeper and deeper, you are more?
I like to go up a gear at a time.
Yep.
So I like to start, and I like to have as many tools in my toolbox as possible to bring out as I go through. So I just bring out one tool at a time.
Yeah, that's smart. Because you don't want to, you need something there at the end that is.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like if I just, let's just say, for example, I add just 10 minutes, I changed nothing, and Chris and I had 10 minutes of cardio, and I burn body fat, and I get leaner, sweet. But I didn't need to do anything else. I've got something I need out of it. So that's how Chris works. When he adds something on or we take something away, he wants to see if I get a response from it, and then we'll either run it or pull it up, or he'll increase it or pull it down. It's that, I think that's one of the reasons why with Chris the preps have been relatively easy. The easiest contest prep of my entire life was the Arnold when I got third. It was so easy, and it showed in my physique because I was fresh. Tampa was pretty easy as well.
Tampa was I was supposed to go to Tampa, but I was actually on my honeymoon in Italy.
I can let you off. I can let you off for that. That's valid.
This is when it let me miss the honeymoon. Got a Tampa Pro, but no, I was constantly checking back in with friends that were there and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was beaten fair and square, but to hear that a lot of people thought I should have won, it was quite. I still hear that today. Like sometimes I'll be at like an expo and somebody will just come up to me and be like, "You should have beaten Dexter." Just walk off. And I think a lot of the time they're just biased because they probably listen to the podcast. Yeah. But for people to think that I even got close to that makes me think, well, there's no reason why I shouldn't be top 5 in the world if I nail it at the Olympia.
Right. In 7 years of bodybuilding, and you are arguably, you are top 10 in the world right now. Yeah. You were top 10 bodybuilder. You're a top 3 at the Arnold. I know you were pretty disappointed with your Olympia showing, but
I don't really count that.
I mean, your body was so worn out by that time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as a coach yourself, I'm sure you see it. You see, and you've seen. When you're trying to get a body ready when it just doesn't want to,
yeah,
it's a recipe for disaster. It just looks worse and worse, especially when it's the Olympia and the mental stress. And I had stuff going on in my personal life at that time which were really heavy. And
that people don't realize is that it's not just the stress in the gym. Like you have to take into account.
Yeah, like there were things going on that no one knew about at the time. No one. And it wasn't until the morning after the Olympia when it was all said and done, and I was in my hotel room, and at this point Ben, who's coming on our podcast next week, he'd already gone and got his flight, and that was his last day. He was moving to Texas that day, so he went from the Olympia to Texas with his fiance.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, that's it, I'm fucking on my own now. There's no Ben, and I've got to go home on my own. I'm here on my own for another day. And I almost had a nervous breakdown in the fucking hotel room because I had all the shit going on at home that was terrifying me. But I also had I didn't give a shit about how I performed at the Olympia. So that part of the stress had gone. So I could start kind of, my whole life just felt a bit better straight. Even though I had the shit going on at home, I was fine because the Olympia was done now. And I was like, oh, fuck for that.
Yeah. Now you've been very open about like issues with anxiety and stuff and all that. I myself, I suffered from a lot of anxiety, went through some issues and stuff myself. How do you, when certain situations come up like that, like what do you do to kind of keep yourself?
I think my anxiety is a bit different. My anxiety stems from ADHD. Part of ADHD is procrastination, and it's not just putting things off you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. It's even things I want to do, I don't have the urge to do it, and I don't do them, and I put them off, and I get really angry at myself because I'm not doing it. So I'm like, I've got to train now. I'll sit there and I'm like, I really want to train, but I just can't bring myself to do it. And fucking drive. It's the worst. And people listening to this who don't have it will be like, just do it. It's not that easy. And that part of that winds me up. And that's where a lot of anxiety comes from. Because if I know, like, I've got a podcast next Thursday, I'll be thinking about it all the time. It'll just be on my fucking mind.
Same way, man. And
I'll be like, or if I know I've got a doctor's appointment or I've got an appointment, something, it just bothers me for days. And it's because I know it's just interrupting my flow.
Yeah.
And yeah, So that's my anxiety is a lot from that. But I don't get, and a lot of my anxiety is just from overthinking on my own.
That's what I dealt with.
Which is why I'm very lucky. Why I'm very lucky to have Sarah, my girlfriend, here with me during this isolation, and because I honestly wouldn't manage on my own. To be fair,
humans aren't meant to be locked away like this. I mean, sure, I think a lot of people are starting to feel those mental health effects from, you know, the gym. A lot of people think of the gym as just like this vain thing you go to look good. For a lot of people, it's our escape. You know,
I've actually, since I've been training in the garage, like Fuad said, you'll love it, and I was like, no, it won't be the same. I've really enjoyed it. There's no mirror. There's no mirror in there. I put my music on. And I'm just like, it's fun as it. It's my little space. That's what I want.
About 2 months ago, before all this started, I was actually looking at turning my garage into just going nuts, just spending about $6 to $10 grand and just decking it out. And we had some stuff for the house we had to do, so we put that off. And all of a sudden, this hit. I'm like, wow.
I'm so lucky that I haven't spent a penny of my Arnold check from last year. So I was like, let's buy this gym.
Yeah. Did you end up getting those plates for less than the 8,500 pounds or whatever it was?
He wanted £1,000 for them, which would have been £120 a plate, which is about $160 a plate. I got him down to £85 a plate, which is about $95 a plate, which is still a lot.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind paying that. And the reason I got him down to that is because I said, look, all this is how much plates are costing everywhere else.
Right.
And I said, the reason I'm bidding for yours is because you're really close to me. I said, anyone else from anywhere else in the country won't be able to get to you because they'll get stopped by the police.
Yeah.
So I can get to you. And I convinced him. So we went down and got it. And the reason I wasn't too bothered about paying that is because every other plate on the internet was either just hours away from my house to drive, or they were just dog shit plates, like just rubber ones with like the chips and the rubber coming off. Yeah. And mine were brand new cast iron plates. They're strength shop plates, and all my rack and stuff are from Strength Shop. And luckily on their site, there's an option that when things come back in stock, you click a little option. So when they come back in stock, you get an email alert telling you.
See, I've done that with stuff, and I haven't been getting any damn email.
So I got an alert. So I got the alert saying that the 20 kilo, 45 pound plates were back in, and they matched the plates I've already bought. So I bought another 6 more.
Nice.
For like a quarter of the price that I got them for before. So now I have all matching cast iron plates, and they're gorgeous plates. I'm very lucky.
You are you going to add any other equipment to the gym, or are you going to?
I've got the hack squat and leg press now.
That's what I miss, man. I miss the leg press.
Yeah, I got the hack squat and leg press, and it's also it does calf raise really well as well. I've just got another 200 pounds of chains.
Okay.
I'm waiting for them to get back and stuff. They've got a dumbbell set, which is like £10 all the way up to £120.
The adjustable one?
No, just a dumbbell set on 2 racks, and it would fit against my other wall, and that'd be it. And then the whole gym would be perfect. Because I don't need more than £120 dumbbells. I've got £100 dumbbells now.
Yeah.
And I've been and after chest today, I did like 3 sets on that, and I was fried. Like I was barely getting 6 reps with and I've pressed £220 dumbbells.
Right. Yeah. That's what you tore your pec off.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I'm going much lighter with things and doing things in different orders. And it's been great. So I thought that dumbbell set would be perfect. And then if I got a treadmill, because I've been wanting a treadmill since last year, I just haven't got around to buying one because I haven't needed to.
Yeah.
But if I had the dumbbell set and the treadmill, I can do a contest prep absolutely no problem out of my house.
It is so incline treadmill walking. Is that your form of cardio for prep?
Yeah, and I was talking about with James the other day, and the reason why we both like the treadmill. It's nothing to do with it being easy or hard or anything. It's the bike is so uncomfortable in my lower back. My ass fucking kills, and I get I chafe. Like the cross trainer, my hands and feet for some reason go numb only on the cross trainer, and again my lower back feels like shit.
Yeah.
The stair mill I really like, but it does eat my legs up a bit.
Yeah.
And I get hit, and it ruins my hips. So the treadmill, I can get my heart rate up just fine, and it's easy in terms of it's comfortable. So I can do it for 3 hours, but I can barely do 30 minutes on a bike.
You're gonna recover so much better doing the walking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Chris likes me doing really low intensity cardio. Like he's like imagine you're window shopping in the supermarket, just walk that slowly.
What was that? He told a story. I don't know if it was on RX or on whatever him and Dave do, the RX Muscle Show, but he was talking about he walked into Gold's one time and saw Flex just like barely strutting along on the treadmill. like,
Yeah,
like 5 miles an hour.
it wouldn't surprise me, but like a lot of guys do that kind of cardio.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just a way of calorie burning. The bigger you are, I guess you can get away with it.
Yeah, you're already burning a little bit more extra calories, so.
Because you're bigger. And you're,
Yeah. So one thing that you are really known for is your training intensity. We talked about that a little bit earlier. But I know that you kind of, when you first, I don't know if it was when you first started, but somewhere near the beginning, you were training with JP a lot.
I've never trained with JP.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
This is the thing. JP's one of my close friends.
Maybe
And
that's what I thought.
And Jordan and I were the only two people in the country doing DC training. And we used to talk about it a lot.
That's what I was thinking. I knew you were doing
DC. And we used to talk about it a lot. That's actually how we became friends. And obviously I was part of his, I was on his subscription site before we brought the supplements out.
Right.
So I was, I've always been very involved in everything Jordan's done up to obviously recently. But yeah, we've just been really good friends, and our training mentalities have always been very similar. Mine have changed a lot, and his have just got kind of more drilled into what the principles in DC were.
And that was going to be my question, is that, you know, I'm really intrigued by DC training and stuff, but how has your training, how has the training actually changed, and how has your mental approach to training changed?
My mental approach is the same. My mental approach, so in terms of what it used to be, is that it was all about mentally preparing for how heavy it's going to be and how hard it's going to be to move it.
Okay.
Now I mentally prepare myself as how much pain can I endure?
Yeah.
Like how much can I just hurt my muscle in a good way, as to just destroy it in this set? Like how much can I make it hurt?
Right.
More so than the weight. I'm still quite heavy because I'm strong, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care at all what I'm moving anymore. But with DC training, it was very much about teaching you how to be intense, because the logbook was your Bible essentially.
Right.
And I never looked at my logbook as a way of beating numbers. I looked at it as a way of beating my intensity and learning how to train harder and harder and harder. Because when you look at your logbook and it's telling you to like deadlift 8 plates for 4 reps, and then this week you've got to add like another 2 kilos or aside and get the same 4 reps, and you remember how fucking hard it was 2 weeks ago when you did it.
Yep.
I have to train harder today.
So that training you more mental as much.
It was, yeah. And then and I just learned how to train hard. But then I also realized there were just holes in my physique from the way the splits were laid out, and I just had areas I needed to change. I was starting to get niggles and pains in areas, so I had to adjust with that. And now my training is very much, I think I've kind of figured it out for the way my body is now.
Yeah. So what is your current training split? Is it the same since we've gone on quarantine?
My back training is a lot closer to DC training, which evidently Dusty Hanshaw's still. That's how he hits his back. Mine's still more similar to that, except I don't do heavy deadlifts anymore. Just because my glutes and spine erectors and traps are big enough. I don't need any more of that.
What do you think is I don't know. What do you think? What body part right now are you really trying to concentrate on? Is it your back? Or
No, my back's a strong body part for me. My rear double bicep has been a relatively weaker shot, but it's not because of my back development. I think it's just been the way I've been actually posing. Yeah, I've completely changed the way I've done it, and I put a post about 6 weeks ago of my rear double. And it's totally different now, and I think a lot of that was just how I was hitting it. But my back's one of my stronger points. It's probably chest. It's chest because it's a weak point. And I wouldn't consider my legs a weak point, because at the Olympia, they were really big. And they were also really big in Australia and Indy last year. It was only really the Arnold, and they were a bit on the slight side. I want them just retarded. So I can do more cardio. I can push the condition harder, because they're always the first thing to go.
Right.
So I think I've got into the point now where I'm a little bit bottom heavy again. Yeah. So I can afford to lose some muscle. And a lot of that's just been the volume training on my legs.
So you are doing more volume training now than you are like.
Yeah, but the intensity is the same. That's the thing. The intensity is the same, and it's way more painful. But it's a lot of it is because I'm trying to have longevity. Like you've heard Dorian Yates tell that story of Steve Weinberger telling him, saying, "Why don't you just back off the training, just win the Olympia for the next 5-10 years and collect your checks?" And Dorian was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to carry on doing what I'm doing." And he got injured. And Dorian says, like, if he could go back, he might have taken that advice if had he known.
Right.
And I'm doing it at a point now where if I carried on training how I was, I wouldn't make it to. I'd retire myself.
Now I've heard you say once you win the Olympia, you're gonna be done. Is that true?
That's my plan. That wasn't my plan. That's my ambition. But who knows?
Yeah. So let's say I don't know what's gonna happen this year with 2020 Olympia.
Well, let's just say within the next 3 years I win it. Okay.
Yeah.
I would probably try and win it again just because I'm with Redcon for 5, and I'll try and get another win for them and for me. And just because Aaron wants my first Sandoe in his office, so I need to get a second one for my house.
I like that.
Yeah. So I mean that would be my ambition, and I stole that from Eddie Hall because he just won the World's Strongest Man and fucked off, and then carried on doing his, and now he's making an absolute killing through YouTube, and I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you seem like you, just from the different podcasts I've heard you on, and obviously with Fuad and stuff, you are starting to really, really embrace the business side of it.
I am. I mean, yeah, I am. It's not the business side. It's like I'm just kind of trying to play to my strengths.
Yeah.
And like I would make YouTube videos for free, and I have for a long time, just not very consistently. And now you can monetize. I'm like, fuck, let's do loads. When the pandemic got released, I'm gonna heavily do my YouTube then. Because it costs money. It does cost money, and it's quite expensive.
That's the issue I'm having right now. Is there's so much stuff I want to do, but like
I have a videographer.
Do it right now.
I have a videographer. We have a contract in place, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. But it's worth it, and it's an investment. So I'm still in that investment stage. And during the whole coronavirus COVID-19 thing, I don't want anything to be monetized in this period. I don't want it. I'd rather leave it alone and wait until everyone's better after. If it means I have to do it next year, so be it.
Yeah. Just not wanting to take advantage of a bad situation.
Because at the moment, Redcon pay me to be a professional bodybuilder. They're paying me for content, so everything I'm doing now just goes on their channel.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So I don't need. So I'm still putting the content out, but it's keeping them happy, and I don't have to spend anything at the moment on that. Especially with the expense of like the things like the gym and everything that I'm trying to do.
Are you trying to open up a gym or just?
No, it's in buying all my own stuff. Because it's like, I mean, if I get these dumbbells and the treadmill, that's probably another 4 or 5 grand.
Yeah. I know, man. You know what? I started doing the math though, because I was actually outside a little bit ago before we started. I was got done with my workout. I was just kind of tossing the ball with my dogs and stuff. And I'm starting to go through my head like about how much I want to spend on a gym, on building my gym and stuff. And I'm trying to run the couple different memberships per month that I have over the course of the next 5 years and all this stuff. I'm like, it's really not that bad of an investment to just go ahead and do it now.
No, it's not.
Where I'm going to primarily train, right? Yeah. But it does get expensive, man. Like when I'm trying to like add all this stuff in my head, and then you go look online right now, everybody's price gauging the hell out of shit.
I've been so lucky to have actually been found most of it brand new, except that, or on eBay cheap as shit. Yeah, I don't know how I've done it. It's like it's fate.
Right place, right time, man.
Yeah, and I'm very, very lucky about that because like people are like, oh, people think I've just contacted Strength Top, but hey, do you know who I am? Give me some, sort me out. I wouldn't, even if I was Mr. Olympia, I'm never doing that ever. I'm never going to be, hi, I'm Luke Sandoe, give me free. Never is that ever happening, ever. Even if I got to a point where I was legitimately well known enough to do that. Yeah. And a lot of people think I've done that. No, I just use when it comes back in stock, alert me tabs on everything I wanted. So
that leads into something I wanted to ask you about because a lot of people that might not follow you as much as I do or whatever, like you are a very humble guy. And you've actually said many times you kind of feel like this imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit. What do you mean by that? I know what you mean by that.
I haven't won a show yet. I've got a really good opportunity at Redcon that a lot of people are not getting. I just keep like having opportunities like commentating the Arnold fell in my lap. That's massive. There's lots of things that keep happening to me. And I keep finding myself in lots of pictures with very important people. And I was like, how the fuck am I here? And it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like, I don't know. It's strange. It's like somebody there's an expo in this country in, I think, October. And they put on there like my silhouette. So no, it wasn't FIBO. It's one in this country. It's one in the UK. It's a new. I should know what it's called. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. It's in October, and they put a silhouette. It was my silhouette, And they said, can anyone guess who this is? And loads of people could guess, and they were just writing my name. And I was like, this is weird. I don't like it.
I understand what you mean, but I think you need to look at it like this, Luke. You even said it a little bit earlier ago when you were talking about training with James and just showing that hard work pays off.
Yeah, it does.
That's what's happening for you, man. It's not.
Yeah, I know. I understand that, but it's like, but I think it's because I've enjoyed it. It doesn't really feel like it's been that hard. Because I've loved it. Everything I've done, I've loved. I've enjoyed all of it, even the really low times and where it's been the most difficult. I've still enjoyed the process of it all, going into that and coming out of it, pulling myself out. But it's been enjoyable, so it doesn't really feel like it's been hard, even though it has. Make sense?
Yeah, no, I do. That actually reminds me of a quote from Branch, and I'm trying to make sure I get this right because it was a good quote. He said, I don't train to be a bodybuilder. I'm a bodybuilder because I train, or because I love to train, or something like that. Meaning, like, you would be doing this regardless of the fame, regardless of.
Yeah, no, I don't give a shit about that. I mean, the stage has to be there, and there has to be a way for me to make a living from it. That was all I wanted. Like, whether that's just making prize money, or just even being a PT or doing whatever. As long as I make money from doing this to support my family, pay my bills, and there's somewhere for me to compete, to show what are my results, and actually do something with it. Right. If the competing wasn't there, I probably wouldn't do it to this extent, because that's a big driving force. But it's not because I'm competitive. It's just because it's like a I always say it's the pictures that I get most excited about. I want good pictures after a show.
Yeah, you want
that's the main thing. The pictures last forever. Your physique doesn't. So the pictures are important to me. So that's why I've always kind of documented my whole career from the beginning on YouTube. I did everything there, and I was putting videos up of me training on clips on Facebook when I first started, before I'd even done a show.
Right.
All the way back. And I think it's just how you can look back at all that, and that's why I think the shows are so important to me, and I really want to do it. But I think it's only been very, very recently the whole idea of being one of the best in the world has popped in my head, in terms of it being possible.
Well, it's definitely possible, man. And so, what are two of your, maybe not two, what's one of your best show experiences, and what's one of your worst show experiences?
One of my favorite shows ever was actually the British finals in 2012, the first one I ever did.
Okay.
Because I felt really good, because I had zero expectations. No one knew who I was.
Yeah.
And it was first time working with a coach. My girlfriend at the time was competing, and it was just great fun. And I rented the car, we packed up my car, loaded it up, stayed in a hotel. It was brilliant. It was just so much fun. I got second, so I had just a brilliant result as well. And the worst one was obviously California in 2018, because I didn't make it to the night show because I died nearly.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I thought that's probably where you were going to go.
Yeah, or Vancouver of that year as well, or Vancouver the year before was terrible.
So what happened with that California show?
It was mostly my fault. I got food poisoning on top of trying to dry out with obviously diuretics in the mix. And I just kept telling Chris I was fine.
Yeah.
Really, and he didn't.
You can't lie to your coach.
And I got really upset with Chris afterwards, because I thought, you should have known. And in hindsight, really, why would he know? Really,
right?
And
what's been the most valuable part of working with Chris? Because Chris is obviously mega guru. He's been around forever. He's got a very different approach than most coaches do with their clients. Has because of your propensity to have a lot of anxiety and stuff, is maybe Chris's like mellow demeanor, is that maybe the biggest asset that you found from working with him, or is there something else? Because he's pretty laid back. He's
laid back, and because I have to do pictures every day. Yeah. I don't know. It just locks me in harder.
People would find that crazy that you just said that. That you do pictures every day.
Every day.
I have a hard time getting pictures once a week for my clients.
From like 20 weeks out every year. People are lazy with the pictures. They don't understand how easy it is. So what I do, I go into the gym. I've got a spot that I go to where it's in the morning. It's a good spot, natural light.
Right.
I put a bench with a little tripod on it, and I set my phone to video me. Yep. And then afterwards, I pause the video, and I scroll through, and I screenshot the poses, and I send them to Chris, and it takes about 10 minutes. And it's so easy. And then I actually check them, and then I go upstairs, and then when I'm doing my cardio, I screenshot them and send them to him with my weight.
Perfect. Done. Super easy. Technology is way too easy now.
And I don't need anyone to help me. I've got my same spot every day. Super easy.
Yeah. So just a few more questions and I'll let you go. But I'm just really curious, if you were president of the IFBB right now, what would you try to implement or change about the way things are run right now? As a competitor right now, as a top competitor, what do you see that needs to be changed? Either, just change for the good, I guess.
I'm not sure, because I've always been I haven't really, from my own personal point of view, I haven't seen or heard of anything I would thought that needs changing. That's bad. I think a lot of it would be, I think everything should just be a lot more universal. So everything's uniform at shows, and it's all a bit more, I don't know, I think it's the same. I think it flows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
because
So
as a competitor, being in that comfort zone is very important. You want to minimize the stress. You want to know exactly what kind of environment you're going into.
Yep.
All the time. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, but I've never really had a bad experience at a show, and the promoters are always good. I would always say, I don't know. It's hard to say because I honestly haven't had a bad experience.
Well, that's a good thing. I think the state of the sport is great right now. I would like to see more exposure, but I think with Jake taking over,
but I think with the exposure thing, I don't think that's not the IFBB Pro League's problem. That's the media of bodybuilding. That's up to them. That's up to AM. That's up to whoever owns the Olympia, the big dogs.
Yeah, that's true. I'm hoping with Wood taking over that we're going to see a little bit more.
Well, that's one thing. Before that happened, that's probably what I would have said something about the Olympia and the way I would have changed that. I'd still like to see it back in the Mandalay Bay. That'd be cool. But the now that's changing. I mean, when I was in Florida last, James and I went to lunch with Ian, who's the head of Two Bros Pro, which is the promoter in this country who runs all the NPC and the IFBB Pros here, the IFBB Pro shows here. So I had lunch with him because he happened to be in Florida for meetings, and we had coffee with Dan Solomon, and he told us some things about what his plans are. No like inside information or anything. He was like, we want it bigger, better. We want the lighting better, like everything to be more of an experience. And I was like, this is fucking amazing. This guy actually wants it to be good. He's not in it for them. He's not just about the money. He wants the Olympia to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I like the direction it's going. I think it's good. I hope that it gets the exposure that it.
Right, he's now got Jake behind him. Before it was AMI,
right?
And even when I did it last year, I enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like, there was no fucking food.
What?
Right? At the Arnold, there's like a buffet. Most shows put on like loads of food, like pizzas and just food about the back. At the Olympia, there wasn't even a sausage. There was nothing. And I was like, and we've all seen the videos of like Victor Martinez troughing out of a pizza thing.
That's exactly
that's what I was there for. Nothing.
You mean I dieted for 16 fucking weeks and there's no fucking
buy my own pizza? What the fuck's this? Luckily, Juan Morel was giving out his cookies and they were good.
Yeah, my wife, she's starting a small little baking company too, and she's phenomenal. And I'm trying to get.
It's so dangerous.
It is, man. But you know what? I'm not a sweets guy, honestly. I mean, I'll try some and everything, but like, you give me a pizza, you give me a burger.
Yeah, that's me.
That's how I am, man. But my house constantly smells of cookies and cakes and all this stuff, and they were amazing. But I actually showed her Juan's wife's jumbo cookies, and I said, "This is your next shit. This is what."
Yeah, they weigh like 5 pounds.
You made some macro-friendly donuts, dude. Ridiculous. Yeah. Like, I mean, you could easily sit and eat 6 to 10 of them, and you're still only taking in like 300 calories.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that was it. But again, that's the only thing I would have changed about the Olympia, just because like Tampa, I remember they had like when I did Indy, even Australia, they all had like they ordered food in for everyone. Yeah. So when we all come off stage, it was just loads of food. I always remember like Ruli just stuffing his face in Australia when not this last one, but the year before when he won.
Yeah,
he was just backstage just smashing pizza, and I was like, "You haven't won yet. You've got to still go out." And he's just like, "Fucking." I think maybe because he's that big, he has to do it to stay full.
Yeah, dude's got some massive arms. Holy shit! Yeah. So, British Grand Prix was going to be your show in 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days out.
Yeah. So, let's just assume that shows are going to be starting up in June. Okay. I know that everything's so kind of on the fringes right now. We don't know what's going on. Do you have kind of a show in mind that as soon as you get the green light, knowing that it's going to happen, that you're going to start prepping?
Probably the British Grand Prix.
They're just going to reschedule, and you're just going to do that.
Yeah, because they've got another like 4 or 5 amateur shows later in the year. They could just piggyback onto one of those. It's in the same venue.
Yeah.
He's within his rights to move it whenever he wants.
Obviously, the goal would be to win that and get the automatic qualifier.
Yeah, I mean the only other option I'm toying with now, based on how the year's going, I'm quite in on the fact that I have to have a perfect prep. I have to have I can't half-ass it. It has to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's just because I've let myself down so many times. If it's not perfect, I can't, and I don't turn up perfect. It would just piss me off. So I might just, depending if they push them back too late, I'll just do the Arnold next year and try and improve in my third place.
That's not so. Obviously, as a competitor, we want shows to happen, all that stuff. Is there a part of you though that just wishes that right now they would just say no shows the rest of the year so that you can just really concentrate on going into?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I have no issue with that, but I think a lot of other people would. But I think I'm saying if they push things back to like October, November, I wouldn't be able to do the Arnold next year because my track record in dieting, I can't do that shows after shows after shows. I want because I'd start the diet in October, so I'd give myself plenty of time, and that's in like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, man, it's going. 2020 has been a shitty year, but it's going by fast.
So in 4 or 5 months, I'll be starting my prep for the Arnold, and I think it'd be a lot less stressful, and it's not that far away. Yeah, but but I'm not sure because I don't know what's happening this year. I'm leaning more towards that as we go, because to put it completely bluntly, I think I can win the Arnold.
I don't think there's
not even. I think I can win it next year.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds ridiculous, but the reason I'm saying that is because I got third, and I watched it this year, and I was like, "There's no reason why I can't." And I said to James, "I was like, fucking tell me honestly, can I win it?" And James doesn't bullshit me. He was like, "Maybe a couple of years, yeah." He was like, and he just looked me fucking dead in the eye. I was like, "Yes, you can, 100%." And Chris was like, "I agree."
And so the only reason you didn't do the Arnold this year was because you just wanted to prep for the show.
No, I wanted rest. Otherwise after the Olympia, I was so tired, and as we said, I was so like beat up. I would have had to start my prep. 2 months? I would have 2 months off.
Yeah, I mean, right around Christmas, right? Yeah.
So can you imagine if I don't compete this year and I just have a whole year from like? I'm going to be so fresh come October.
I think that's.
And I'm going to put on a lot of muscle in this time if I focus. I think it's a good idea, and I would never have a million years said I can win the Arnold, but I've got third there, so why the fuck not?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that you're going to win an Arnold, and I think you can do it next year. I mean, let's look at Sergio, for example. He took all of last year off, and he came back phenomenal.
Yeah, his off-season was so good, wasn't it?
Gosh, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you could do that, too. I mean, is there going to come a point here pretty soon when you're just like, I'm just going to personally shut it down. Like, I can't wait anymore. I'm not.
There will be 100%, but I don't know when that is. I don't know. The only show that's confirmed is the Arnold. No, sorry, New York, and that's what, September?
They moved it back to August.
No, September. I think it's 5th or 9th of September.
Oh yeah, it's like the week before the Olympia, isn't it?
And so definitely the Olympia is definitely not going to be a week after New York. No.
I mean, schedule-wise, right now, that's what it looks like, but it's not.
Come on, it's not happening. So there must be things going on behind the scenes. I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to find other dates, just in case. But if it's later, I would just think, based on how this year's been, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to have a second-rate prep when I could save it all and just kind of be a bit more relaxed. In terms of this off-season, stay nice and fresh and mentally, because I said this to James yesterday. I was like, mentally, I'm starting to be like, I'm starting to get that fire back. Like, bodybuilding's fucking sick. I love it. And I think when I was training, especially because my training's changed, because I'm working around injuries a lot.
Yeah.
And training's been like a lot of fun. So I trained chest earlier, and I did all these movements I never do.
Getting creative.
Yeah. So I don't have a pec fly, so I did banded flies. So I just put the rack up, I put some handles on the bands, and I did that. You could do like mechanical drop steps by standing far away and just coming back.
Right, absolutely.
So I did like tons of that, so my chest was just blown up. Then I did reverse band incline barbell press. I got to like 4 plates. I did like 3 sets there. And then I did a football bar. I did with like 100 pounds of chains on it. And that was it.
Damn.
Like 100 pounds of chains each side.
That's what I've been telling people during this time. Like, use this time to get creative. Like,
yeah. So there's no pec tension here, but when I got to like here, the fucking contractions just unbelievable. And then I did dumbbell press, like just really, just that bullshit. Like, you know how it is. Just.
I'm actually having some issue on my right pec for a long time now. I had like a bicep strain that ran up into here, and like my right pec has atrophied so much.
Really?
Like, I've been using the new fit. There's a guy here in town that I'm using the new fit like a couple times a week on and stuff. And it's coming back, but man, there's like no firing in it.
Well,
like
mine feels weak. I didn't notice it until I did the dumbbell press. My right pec was just hitting failure before the left.
Yeah.
So when I was pressing them, I was like this, it felt the same, but my right pec would hit failure.
Yeah.
Sooner, but they're so full. Like my right pec since the injury is my left pec's always been way better. It's always been really thick and round and detailed. And my right pec's always been a lot flatter and kind of longer. And it's like where it's torn away a little bit. It's only very minor. I don't think anyone would even see it. The whole pec's just so round now. And it's
he puts the have you used the new fit at all?
Yeah, we did it at the Arnold, yeah.
Yeah. So he was putting it on and everything, and my pecs are not firing at all. Like whatever injury just shut off all firing pattern. So as soon as it starts firing again, it's gonna fill back up. Like it's
of course.
not a big deal. But man, my pressing right now is so awkward. Like I'm laying there and it feels just it's exaggerated, but the left side, this is what it feels like. I'm pressing on it. It's like this. And I look down and like this pec is just flat as a titty. And this thing is just like all pumped up. And I'm like, oh shit. But it will come back. So no,
yeah, I think with mine it's just like because it's not the same as it was, it's like I've got to build that strength back up.
Yeah.
Because obviously a tiny part of the muscle is not in the same place.
Right. That moves all off.
The movement pattern's a bit different, but the pumps are just insane. And I'm still training heavy. Like I went to 4 plates on the incline with a band. The band was only taking about 30 pounds off it at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not like dramatic. It's only one band. So yeah, it's nice, and especially having that football bar is phenomenal. I love it. And it's just I have everything I can do everything I need to in that gym.
How do you feel about there's some professionals out there that are getting a lot of shit for still having access to a gym and all that. I mean, they're getting called out, and then people are like, "Yeah, getting a lot of shit." What do you feel about that? Because
I think fuck off, mind your own business.
Exactly.
I've had people actually inboxing me, being a bit bitter, say, "Well, it's all right for some." Well, you at least you're lucky you've got the money and the space. I wish I had that. All right for some. It's like or telling them I'm not showing off. It's like no, it's not that at all. It's like do you really think I want to be spending all this money?
Here's how I see it. Okay, like it's your profession.
Exactly.
It's your profession. There's some people here that can still go to work, but others can't. So it would be the same concept of giving other people shit for going to work.
Yeah, it's not like I'm spending a ton of money on drums and making my own studio, which if I wanted to, I can. I'm entitled to do that. But it's not that. It's not for fun. Even if it was, fuck yourself. It doesn't matter. I'm doing it because it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, it's my job.
Pays the bills.
It pays the bills. And it's like, and also the thing is, it's made me feel, I felt useless for about 3 or 4 weeks because I had nothing to do. And all my content for Redcon was just taking the dog for a walk. I was like, this is shit. I don't know. I was like, they're going to drop me. This is so bad. I don't know what, this is a disaster. And now I feel a bit more like I have actually something to do. I feel more constructive with my time.
I know personally, like when I'm watching you train and watching Dusty train and some of these guys that still have, access to stuff, it actually makes me happy because as much as I love I'm a fan of bodybuilding. And so like, I'm happy to see that the guys that I follow, the top guys are going to still have an ability to have a great physique when competition season does still open up. As a fan, I want you guys to still be able to work out. I want to see you up on stage. And selfishly, I hope you choose to do Tampa and come here because I really want to. Want to see it.
Is Tampa still on?
It is as of now. I actually have a client that's doing bikini, amateur. But as of right now, I mean it's July 30th, 31st, and August 1st, like that weekend. So yeah. So if you do get a hair up your ass, I've got room here. You guys can stay over here. I'm about 15
Ooh,
minutes from the
nice.
venue, so
Perfect. Perfect. That's going
we
to
got
steal your kitchen.
friends over here. Well, I'm going to leave you on one question. Okay,
Cool.
if you could have a pose down with anybody in the history of bodybuilding,
Dorian Yates.
okay, I figured
Not because I compared to him, just so I could look at him and be like, okay, that is what I need to do.
yeah,
That's what I need to look like this, and I probably just more so just fucking see him. And everyone talks about the aura.
yeah.
Fuck it, yeah, but it annoys me because I get compared to Dorian a lot. I don't compare myself to him. The only thing I compare myself to is I try and emulate the way he did things.
Yeah.
Training. I don't think my physique resembles his at all.
Well,
because I posted that the bodybuilding and bollocks page. They made a little clip.
Yeah.
Of Dorian, of me and Dorian, like pictures of us next to them, and Dorian talking about me. I got so much shit for that. And I was like, I didn't make the video, and Dorian is talking about me. It's not me,
right.
like licking my own ass.
What they want to hear. That's so bullshit, man.
Yeah. But Dorian, because he's just the fucking man. He is the man.
Okay, so that was kind of an easy one because I figured you probably would say Dorian. Second person that you would want. Who's your second favorite bodybuilder of all time?
Probably either Mike Francois or Jay Cutler.
Ooh, both great choices.
I'm looking forward to having a pose down with Flex Lewis because we're good friends as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tap him on the head. I was just going to go next to him and just tap him on the head.
I love it. Well, Luke, man, I'm going to respect your time. I appreciate you so much for coming on, man. You are someone that I really respect and look up to, and would love to meet you in person sometime. But just keep training hard, stay safe, stay healthy, and we hope to see you up on that Olympia stage this year.
Absolutely. We'll see how it goes. And again, thank you so much for having me on, and I'll see you soon.
Yes. Is there anything you'd like to plug or tell people how they
No, just everyone who buys Redcon 1 stuff, just keep buying it. Just make sure you use my code because Aaron likes that because he keeps an eye on the numbers. So Sandoe20, if you didn't know what it was, Sandoe20, redcon1.com. Cheers.
All right. And I'm going to leave your description, all your stuff in the description box below so people can get a hold of it.
All of my social media is just my name, so it's all very easy to find.
Super easy. Well, you take care, man. I know it's you're 5 hours ahead, so it's about 6.
Yeah, so it's about 10:06 now. So I'm gonna go and get some food, and then I got a live feed with James in an hour.
Perfect. Well, you take care, man. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
See you soon, mate. Bye bye.